Welcome to a very special episode of Own the Jet, where we will be going through the process of what it's like to own a jet. So a lot of the episodes that we've had up until now, we've talked to various people in the industry. We've talked to people that are experts at various aspects of jet ownership. But what we haven't yet done is walk you through the process of what it's like to go through jet purchasing. So we'd like to do that in these next few episodes we're going to put together. It's going to be a series, but the first step in that process is understanding whether you are to the point where you actually need a jet. Welcome to Own the Jet by Aspen Aero Group, where we share perspectives from some of the leading voices in private jet ownership and business aviation. I'm your host, Derik Savage, along with my co-host, Jason Spoor, president of Aspen Aero Group. Join us as we dive deep into the mechanics, mindset, and moments that define jet ownership. And together, we'll learn what it takes to own the jet. So this is basically like a discovery qualification sort of conversation with me. And we're going to pretend like I'm somebody that is, in the market for a jet.
Pretend, Derik.
I'm in the market for a jet. Let's do it. I'm actually, maybe I am in the market for a jet.
You might be.
I might be. By the end of this conversation, you'll have me convinced.
Yes.
So let's say that I'm coming to you as an aircraft broker, and I'm saying to you, you know what? I think I might be ready to own a jet. Mm-hmm. Maybe I have a jet in mind. Maybe I have a flight mission in mind, or a few things that I want to do in mind in terms of why I want to own a jet. And I have, let's say I have a business and I have a financial situation, et cetera. So what are some of the first things that you would want to know from me, and some of the first things that I should probably be asking myself in regards to that? Yeah.
So, right out of the gate, we're going to want to know what your interest is and why, obviously, from a high level.
Yeah. Okay,
so
let me give you some scenarios.
What was it exposure? Did you fly on a friend's airplane? Was it a charter flight you did? Where is this curiosity, interest coming from?
Yeah.
What is your level? And that, what we're doing in there is gauging your level of interest.
Okay.
Are you just kind of asking, or you're really serious?
Let's do a scenario. So let's say that I have been chartering flights as a business. Say I'm a business owner and I am flying regularly to a couple. Let's say I'm based in Chicago and I'm flying to New York and I'm flying to Dallas and I'm flying to Florida on the regular.
Yeah.
And let's say it's maybe once, sometimes twice a week.
Yeah.
And I'm a busy guy. I'm an important guy. And
yeah.
A lot of people need to talk to me.
Definitely busy.
I'm busy. Maybe not. We'll see. It's subjective.
Yeah.
It's subjective. But let's say I've got a lot of travel, right? And I'm thinking I've been chartering flights, right? I've been flying privately for a while, and maybe it's getting expensive, and maybe I'm in the market for something. I don't know what I'm in the market for, but I know that jet ownership might be in the cards for me.
Yeah.
So let's talk about.
Sure.
So what do you need to know from me, and what do I need to know from myself?
Yeah, definitely a lot of questions, and everybody's situation is different.
Yeah.
And everybody's thought of an airplane is different.
Yeah.
So in the charter world, you have the capability, depending on how much you want to spend, to charter anything up to an airliner, right? So say once on one of these charter flights, you got into a Global Express, let's just say.
Okay.
Granted, that would probably be a pretty high-end airplane for this.
So now a Global Express, it's a Bombardier aircraft. It's very large.
Very large.
Goes very far.
Does.
Yeah.
So if your expectation coming in is to buy one of these airplanes, and it could very well be you can, but going back to what you asked, first is, how big is your company? What can you afford?
When you say how big, you mean what's your revenue, profit, all that stuff?
Revenue, yeah.
Okay.
What of your budget are you willing to give up for an airplane? Now, you might not know what you want to give up.
Right.
We'll go take a look at these trips. So Chicago, Dallas, Florida, back, So a pretty decent airplane.
Yeah.
And so we'll grab numbers and we'll grab some airplanes we think are going to be great for this mission.
Yeah.
Come to you and say, here's what this looks like.
Yeah.
So here would be the high.
Okay.
Whether that's a Challenger 300 would probably be the high, or a Gulfstream 280,
Okay.
super mid-size airplane,
Okay.
to maybe the next level down is going to be, Hawker style airplane,
Yeah.
and then down to a Citation type. So, and put
So there's a
those-
whole range of
there's a whole
aircraft
range
depending
you can
on
do. Sure.
where I need to go and
Right.
how far I need to go.
And because we want to understand what your bandwidth is. So here's 3 options. Here's
Okay.
what they're going to cost initially.
Okay.
Here's potentially what you can see on tax savings.
Sure.
Here's what it's going to cost you per hour to operate it.
Yeah.
Here's what it's going to cost you annually to operate it.
So by giving me these options, are you vetting what my appetite
That's
for spend
exactly
is?
what
Is
we're
that-
doing.
Okay.
Yes, because you came to me with a blank slate, not knowing where to start, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to start with a couple different things.
Okay.
Here's a panel. Take a look.
Okay.
Where do you fit into this? Not only did we bring up, the size of the airplane,
Yeah.
but also how many people are you going to take with you? How big are these people?
Yeah.
What does this look like? Because, in an airplane, we can say, hey, we sit up to 6 people.
Yeah.
But in reality, these are people that are, 170 pounds.
Okay.
So if one of them's 280,
Yeah.
then we need to start thinking about some other things.
Okay.
So there's that. There's, just the typical physical structure of the airplane.
Yeah.
And what it's going to take. And then with that type of routing, we're going to be able to get in from, a lower cost airplane right up to sky's the limit, right?
Well, what about me and my like financial situation, right?
Yeah.
So let's say I'm flying, I'm chartering flights, maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. I'm being honest about it. Maybe I'm not that important, right? But I'm going as far as from Chicago to New York or Chicago to Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm not going all the way down to Costa Rica. I'm not going all the way, I'm not going across the pond.
Yep.
So it's all within the United States.
First airplane.
First
right?
airplane,
Yep.
right? So I've not experienced. There might be some stuff that I don't know in terms
Right.
of cost.
Yep.
Now I'm looking at let's say I've got a business that's let's just say to keep it simple, $10 million in revenue, and let's say I'm clearing $1.5 million.
Yeah.
At the end of the year. And is that a situation? I don't know if you need to know about my personal finances versus the business finances, or what do I need to be looking at in regards to that? Does that qualify me for being, airworthy?
Oh, sure. I mean, at that level, we're probably going to come back with an option of a net jet or a flex jet or a quarter share type.
Okay.
Or maybe even a jet card, depending.
And so what that means, don't buy a jet outright.
That's right.
That means I have what, fractional ownership?
Fractional ownership.
Like a timeshare.
Yeah. And
Okay.
just all it means is, yes, you have access to the jet.
Okay.
You're setting things up in advance.
Okay.
So you know what you're doing, and you're making these trips happen, that way. It's a good introduction into jet ownership and seeing what it's all about and how it works. There are some limitations to it that you wouldn't have if you're a wholly owned jet owner, just as far as scheduling. So,
Gotcha.
last minute it's going to cost, and it's going to cost you.
So I need to
change.
know in advance, well in advance. I can't just, be on a sales call with a potential client and I'll be in Dallas by 5 and we'll go have dinner.
Right.
And I'm up in Chicago. That's not going to work.
And you can do that. You can do it. It's
gonna-
just there's going to be an impact there.
Oh, okay.
A financial
Gotcha.
impact.
You talk about things like quarter share. Does that mean I'm paying literally a quarter of the price too?
That's right.
Or is it
Yeah.
a
So
little
essentially,
bit more than that?
Yeah, a little more than that. So you're actually deeded a quarter share of an asset. So
Okay.
you do have something that is, depreciable, tax deductible.
Okay.
On top of that, you're going to be paying into fees with the airplane and get a little taste of what that looks like. As your business grows and as your needs grow, then you're working your way into whole ownership.
Okay.
The next step out of that is whole ownership. Obviously, in the quarter share world, you can go into half ownership and, kind of move up. But logically,
the fraction gets bigger?
The fraction gets bigger.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's probably best to start talking to whole ownership.
So let's say my business does well, right? Let's say having fractional ownership, does well for me, I'm able to get to Dallas, I'm able to get to New York and get some deals closed. And let's say the next year my business is up to 20 million. Let's say we're bringing in, 2-3 million at that point, profit at the end of the year. Maybe my options open up a little bit more.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
So what is the next step then from fractional?
So working into whole ownership.
Yeah.
We're working towards that, right? And again, looking at the customer, the demographic of what their travel looks like, as far as the people, going back again to that.
Sure.
And what size airplane fits best. Again, just like buying a car, we can go out and buy a great big van for 30 grand or whatever it is.
Oh, that's a great question. Do I get to test drive it?
Yeah.
Do I get to? So it's like if I'm looking at all these planes, right?
Yeah.
Am I like, do I show up to like let's say you give me a bunch of options, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to do this too.
Yeah.
Do we get to? Do we get to say like, okay, I'm in the market for a plane.
Take it for a spin.
Take it for a spin because I want to know. I mean, this is the expensive thing, right? I want to know. Am I going to get to go fly in the plane and see like I want to know where the cup holders are? I want to know like if the bathroom's nice, all that stuff.
Not in the terms of you buying a car. It's not quite that accessible. If, and of course, totally good question. And what does it look like inside? How do I fit in it?
Sure.
Definitely need to do that.
Yeah.
Definitely need to see that and feel it.
Yeah.
Flying it, also possible.
Okay.
The way it's done is usually with some money.
Okay.
Just a charge for how much it's going to cost to run that airplane.
Okay. So I got to pay for gas. I got to pay for the pilot.
Depending on the seller and what they're willing to do.
Gotcha.
How far they're willing to go.
If they're really trying to get rid of it, they might be a little bit more okay with you.
And if not, then we'll look for another option, whether we charter an airplane of similar attributes and get you on that.
You were talking about moving into whole ownership. Why would I want to? I guess what are the downsides of fractional ownership? And you said you were talking about having a card. What was?
Yeah, jet cards.
A jet card.
Yeah, so you're buying time.
Yeah.
So a jet card is just like a credit card, and there's 50 hours on it, and you cash them in.
Okay.
And the dynamics of it work different with different companies that hold these jet cards, but
gotcha.
It's something to talk about. A jet card would be pre-buying into a quarter share.
Okay.
So that would probably be something.
So that's your taste of the world,
that's your
right? The quarter share is actually like committing.
Yep.
Okay.
And once you experience it, you're gonna love it.
You only want to move up.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what are some of the things I'm going to run into as a fractional owner or somebody with a jet card that maybe I'm like, I gotta get a wholly owned jet at this point.
So availability, scheduling, getting a hold of that airplane when you need it.
Gotcha.
There's a huge spectrum there, right, of companies that do this and their accessibility. And that's a whole other show and a whole other conversation. And maybe we can get NetJets or somebody to come on and explain that. But a big gamut there of what people are willing to promise you for owning their jet card. But again, just a taste, get you into quarter ownership, or you just go right to whole ownership. If that presents itself and you're traveling enough to justify that and make it work, then you have an airplane that is 100% available to you.
Nice. So I don't have to. So no matter how, and I'm sure these companies that do the charter services, like the ownership or fractional ownership and or the cards, I'm sure they do a great job of making the process easy and smooth and et cetera.
Sure.
And I'm not trying to downplay them, but I can't. I mean, literally, like if there is a jet, only so many people can fly or can take that jet out at a time, right? I mean, it's like it's just a matter of scarcity in resources there, right?
Right.
So owning it wholly, it's whatever I want.
That's right.
At that point, right?
Yep. 100% access. Obviously, it is a machine, so there's some breakdowns, there's some maintenance, but for all practical purposes, you have access to it 100% of the time.
So let's say there's a good use case then to get out of fractional ownership and into wholly owned or having a wholly owned jet.
Sure.
Let's say it's like I just need to have it available for me. I just need to travel more.
Yep.
Your next question to me is going to be what about my ability to pay for something, or are we talking mission?
Yeah, both.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, we know the mission. Basically,
I got to go to Dallas.
Yeah,
I got to go to New York. Sometimes Florida.
So then the paramount thing is it's cost.
Yeah.
And here's what that looks like.
Okay.
Here's a just a granular look at that. This is what it's going to cost you per year. This is what it's going to cost you for 5 years.
Yeah.
Now, buying an airplane, of course, we have regulatory requirements, which we've talked about and people have heard about on our show quite a bit.
Yeah.
So looking at that airplane,
Yep.
we want to take a really deep dive into that. So once we identify an airplane that we like, and this is the plane, this is what we like, we're going to take a good look at what that plane's going to cost us for 5 years.
Okay.
And we're going to show you that.
Okay.
Because what could happen is you buy an airplane that has a major inspection due in year 3 of your ownership. So we want to make sure in due diligence that we say to you, Derik, in 20 blah, this airplane's going to need a $1.2 million inspection. And you need to
It's
know
that much for an inspection? That's insane.
It can be, yeah.
Okay.
And I picked a big one. That's a big one.
Yeah, but if I'm going for like an older plane because I want to,
you're going to be there.
Okay.
You're probably going to be in that.
that's
world.
that's like 15-year-old BMW, right?
Right,
like
right.
whatever, right?
So we're going to want to make sure that in our due diligence as a broker,
Yeah.
that we're finding all this stuff out.
Yeah.
And we know this. And that goes back to that affordability question. Again, don't want to set you up for a situation where, oh my God, year 3, I've got to shell out an extra $1 million or whatever.
Yeah.
Again, that's a high number, but it can be easily, depending again on the airplane.
So am I just looking at cost, or what other considerations am I? I mean, is it? How much personal preference comes into it as far as like I play golf with a guy that owns a Gulfstream and I want to own a Gulfstream too.
Yeah.
Well, how much of is that?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely airplane envy.
Sure.
So the
I like
guys
those little
that
Honda Jets. Have you seen those?
they are,
Yeah,
they're
I want one
nice.
of those.
They're nice. They're
So
nice
maybe-
and have a
maybe if-
function too. I mean, everything
Right.
has a function. But is it the function you want? Is it what you need or what you want? And how do we have these discussions? So
Right.
in a brokerage firm, the brokerage firm that you want
Yeah.
is the one that's going to sit down with you and say, here's kind of the world of where you are.
Yeah.
Here's the BMW of the world,
Okay.
and this is what it looks like.
Okay.
Here's the middle, here's the low. Coming in with what you and I would know as a Yugo,
Yeah.
or whatever, a Chevette.
Sure.
And then we're gonna show you this.
Yeah.
And where does this fit in your puzzle right now? Because we need to know, what's it gonna look like next year for you,
Yeah.
and maybe the year after. Because at that point, 2-3 years into it, and your company's growing, and your wealth is growing,
Yeah.
I'm going to flip this thing in 2 years. I'm going to flip it in 4 years. Of course, those variables, we really, just like the stock market or any financial conversation,
Right.
we don't know the answer to that. We don't know what's going to happen next year. Things could totally change.
Right.
So
You could have a different tax situation.
we could have
Yeah.
a tax. We
Yeah.
could have a tax change.
Yeah.
But now we have bonus depreciation out there.
Sure.
So we want to be able to make sure we're taking full advantage of taxes and depreciation. But again, we want to set you up for success and put a plan together that, what does this look like? What does this look like 5 years from now? Can I run this jet 7 years? Can I run it 10 years?
What are some things that would immediately disqualify me from jet ownership? What are some things, like if I came to you and I'm like, you know what? I mean, is it just the money, or are there other things? I mean, because I could come to you and say like, hey man, I'm running a construction business. We made $5 million last year. I was able to bring home just under $1 million. I really want to get a jet because I know some people with jets. Is this right for me?
Yeah, no, it's not.
And it's just no, right off the bat, no.
Yeah, most of
Okay.
the time, unless there's another funnel of money. But based
Okay.
on what you said,
Yeah.
no.
No.
We would, but what we can do, outside of a jet airplane would be a turboprop airplane, something a little smaller.
Okay.
Something goes a little slower.
Yeah.
But still gives you that ability to create time for yourself.
Gotcha. And when you say create time, that's something I've heard from people in the aviation industry about, treating a jet like it's a time machine. It
Right.
gets you time back because you don't have to spend an entire day, going through TSA and airports and all this stuff. You just go out and get on your jet or your, turboprop.
Yeah, exactly. So airplanes, we know for a fact that as far as growth of a business can be related back to aircraft ownership. We'll just call it aircraft ownership.
Sure.
So whatever can move your sales, your CEO, whoever happens to be the person that's making that company grow.
Yeah.
If you can get that person moving, your business is going to grow. And I don't want to quote the rate it's going to grow, but it's going to grow.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you can get more face time with customers and get your people out is good, which is why, in the United States, we have 16,000 corporate private airplanes flying around.
So do you find that a lot of people, when they start to talk about jet ownership, it's not their first rodeo with aircraft?
That's right.
Okay. So they've already been on that path for a little while. They've already figured out, okay, maybe I've got a time machine that can save me, 10 hours here, 12 hours there, but I need something that can get me where I need to go, like now.
Right. Exactly. Growth of business, directly proportional.
Yeah. What are some other things that might disqualify me outside of cost?
Cost?
Yeah, outside of my financial situation.
Disqualifiers. Pretty much cost is going to be the biggest thing.
Money makes things move, right?
Right.
So if you got the money, we can make it work.
If you got money, you can get it. You can get into it.
Okay.
And you don't necessarily have to have a lot. Other things that people are sensitive to, and more so companies, are optics.
I've heard a little bit of this as we've spoken with people in aviation. It's I don't want to be flashy about flying my jet around.
Right, because again, worried about investors in your company.
Sure.
What's their thought if I go out and buy this jet? The response to that is what we just talked about.
Sure.
I want to grow this company. I want to make it profitable.
Yeah.
I want to make us, king of the world, which would be every CEO's response. So to do that, I need time. I need to make my time worth every penny. I've got to be here, here, and here.
Yep.
And they're very important. Are commercial airlines going to do that? No.
Right.
More and more people are traveling. Airlines are saturated.
Yep.
Planes are breaking down. You're getting delays.
Yeah.
The ATC system is getting bogged down. We see this in the news nonstop. What's the alternative? Having your own source of air transportation. So get a plane. And that's what we're seeing, right? We're seeing that kind of scaling in.
Yeah.
But optics do play a part in it. So to roll back some of those comments, you have to kind of thread the needle, right? With a board or whoever you're dealing with, a CFO.
Sure.
Well,
because you got to justify it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the justification of that?
Yeah.
And that's where we can help as well. Because with my background, of course, being in corporate aviation, working for companies, was annually selling that airplane to the company. Here's the value that you're getting out of this machine.
Because the bean counter's got it on the chopping block.
That's right.
Every year.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is an expense that we don't need. Well, actually, that expense made X amount of dollars because this person was at this meeting and made that deal happen.
Right.
A lot of times those dots don't get connected in the accounting room or the finances.
Sure.
People don't see that. But that's kind of our job and what your aviation director's job. And if you don't have one, we'll gladly step in and kind of fill that role and say, look, looking at your company, looking at what you're doing, and what you're making, can you justify an airplane?
Yeah.
We'll give you a thumbs up or a thumbs no. It's not going to help you right now.
Right.
Looking at other brokerage firms, I'm not sure how far other brokerage firms go into that. Our brokerage firm is the only one has a person that's ever done that. So when it comes to, CEO X coming to me and saying, Jason, I really want to get a jet. I think we need one. I'm getting a lot of pushback in the company.
Yeah.
But I think we're there.
Yeah.
How can you help us with this?
Help us present our case.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'll come in, have the conversations, make the presentation. Here is what we think you can get out of this.
Yeah.
We're willing to do that for anybody. If we can help you build your business, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
It's not so much, and we obviously sell jets, but it's not so much selling the jet as it is helping people grow, right?
Yeah. Well, it's the opportunity it creates, right?
Yeah,
it's the upside. It's
absolutely.
the upside. I feel like so many people, they look at finances and they look at like, oh, well, this is a cost, this is a downside, et cetera.
Right.
But like, what are you gaining by having the ability to be, across the country within a few hours?
Right. Right.
That's a lot.
Yep, exactly.
And it can move things.
Yep. I mean, it's where it's at.
Yeah.
Right. We're in a high-speed world with the technologies that we have and the abilities we have to communicate and et cetera, et cetera. But there's still that personable shaking somebody's hand and pressing flesh that makes things move.
Outside of a business use case, I know it's like justifying business-wise, right? Having some money, right?
Yep.
Having enough money to and it scales up as you go. Is what it sounds like, right? And you
Sure.
need to, in order to even be thinking about getting started, I've got to have a few million in the bank, right?
Yeah.
And then I've got to potentially be on an upward trajectory with my business. And have a good business use case in order to justify it, either to the bean counters or to myself or my wife or whoever,
right?
because it's expensive.
Yeah.
But if the upside outweighs that expense, well then maybe it becomes a good decision. And so, are there any other things that I need to think about in terms of qualifying myself to have a conversation about jet ownership, other than that?
Outside of a company use.
Well, maybe I don't have a good business use case for it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't travel as much as somebody that does.
Well, again, strictly tied to finances.
Sure.
But if you have the ability to fly privately, I think it was one of our previous guests that brought this up. I mean, once you taste that life and once you know what that feels like, you're never going to roll back to parking your car, going to the counter, going through TSA, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
So
now it's just a luxury.
Now it's a luxury. Yes. And if you're traveling a fair amount, say, we're talking about people with homes in different places,
sure,
et cetera, et cetera. Well, now you have a tool to get you from A to B very comfortably, very leisurely, not so stressful.
Yeah.
So
even if I'm somebody,
the
let's say I got lucky in crypto, right? Let's say invested a lot and made a bunch of money on Bitcoin. Sure. And here I am with a bunch of cash, but no real good business use case for like why I've got to travel. It's just I want to. Mm-hmm. Sometimes for somebody like that, it might make sense too, just from the lifestyle perspective.
For sure.
And then they don't have to justify it to investors.
Well, right. If you don't have to, even better, right? But if you have disposable income and you just want that lifestyle and have that flexibility, and you travel and you want to see places, you want to go places, you want to do things, it's the way to do it, right?
Nice.
So it's, do I take the bus to the ballpark, or do I take the Rolls Royce to the ballpark?
Nice. So nothing in between.
Nothing in between.
It's a bus or Rolls Royce. That's how you get.
Well, we have in between too, but
sure.
It's a lifestyle decision, right? At that point.
Yeah. And sometimes there's some gray area too, right? Where people that are like, CEOs or executives in companies that have access to these jets through the company, they can take their family on a nice vacation somewhere. They can use it in those ways as well, right?
Yeah.
So not strictly one or the other.
Yeah. So when we, granted we have the opportunity to talk to a company that's looking at this and they don't have an airplane in use currently.
Yeah.
We talk about that too. So it's another tool for a company to attract talent, right? So here's another usage.
Okay.
We want to hire so-and-so to be the head of finance, to be our CFO. Well, so-and-so lives in New York. Our company is in Vermont. But we have this jet.
Yeah. Guess
what? Now you have more access to hire that guy. We'll pick you up on Monday. We'll take you back on Thursday. So you see some of that.
Yeah.
So jets aren't just for building financial pieces of a company, but also personnel pieces of a company as well. And you also see companies that will run shuttles. So they'll run, high density type airplanes, and they'll run people from state to state to do audits, to do whatever they're needing to do.
Yeah.
And we saw that a lot in a company, IBM. I'll talk about them. Move people from New York City and upper state New York, wherever they had to move them. So, there's a lot of different tools that the airplane can do.
Right.
Or function as.
But if I'm just getting started, it's
linear.
Trying to vet myself as far as like I probably want to have a couple million. I probably want to have a business use case. I probably want to have some kind of upside.
Yeah.
Not just the luxury thing. Maybe I'm working towards it, right? I'm over here hustling. And
Yeah.
In order to get these deals closed, in order to meet with prospects and clients, I need to be where they are. And I need to have, air transportation to do that. Maybe start off small, work my way through fractional, and then get into,
Right.
maybe a smaller jet to start with, and
Sure.
work my way into a bigger one, or an older jet to start with, and work my way into a newer one.
Right.
Those are a couple paths.
Those are paths. Yep.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to explore every scenario we can think of, and whatever tools we need to use to get to those scenarios and build it out for you. You brought up, finance. The other side of what we'll do is, as Aspen Aero Group,
Yeah.
is once we start this conversation with you, we also have friends in the finance world. We have friends in the tax world. So we're going to start talking to these people right away. And hey, what can company X do as far as depreciation?
Yeah.
What can they do as far as financing?
Yeah.
You might have $5 million sitting in the bank, and you say, I'm going to use that $5 million to buy an airplane. Well, that might not be the best decision.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring in experts in that field to say, hey, look, it's best you take, $4 million of that, put it into some other investment, and put $1 million into financing because it's going to be cheaper for you.
Right.
You're going to make more
Use
money.
somebody else's money to buy the jet and just have that as collateral.
And that's not my world.
Sure.
But we know people that do that.
Yeah.
And so they're part of our team
Okay.
that we use to make these conversations happen.
So having some assets, having a use case, being on that path, those are all good starting points. Let's say I'm qualified, and let's end it right there for this episode.
Yeah.
Because the next episode, what I want to do is talk about, okay, now let's talk about the kinds of jets that I might be qualified for.
Perfect.
And what I might want to bring to the table to you as far as like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
Yeah.
I'll throw some stuff at you. And
Oh, no.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see you swat down all my
Yeah.
ideas.
Yeah.
So that'll
Awesome.
be fun. All right. Anyway, so that was a good exploration of kind of what we would do to qualify somebody for jet ownership or aircraft ownership in general. And I think this is a fun kind of little series, kind of little exercise, and see if we can get all the way to purchasing something and actually
sure.
owning a jet. And seeing where it goes. So yeah, let's keep this going. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and you'll get the next one as well. But yeah, it's been a good time, and join us next time where we will learn more about what it takes to own the jet. Thank you for watching Own the Jet. If you want to see more Own the Jet, make sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube and leave a comment telling us what aspect of jet ownership you'd like to know more about. Own the Jet is brought to you by Aspen Aero Group, your trusted partner in private and corporate jet ownership. Learn more at aspenaerogroup.com. This has been a Savage Media production.